Hello, members and friends of the Desert Southwest Conference. I'm Reverend Dan Hurlbert, head of delegation and first elected clergy.
And I'm Paul Gomez, first elect lay of the delegation to the General and Jurisdictional Conference of this quadrennium.
You may be wondering exactly which General Conference, and didn't Jurisdictional Conference just happen? And when exactly does this quadrennium begin and end? Well, rest assured that we will answer your questions today as best as we can. We wanted to make this update video to give you a roadmap for the next steps of our denominational meetings and who the delegation members are.
First, let's take this opportunity to reintroduce you to the delegation you elected to serve at the 2020 General and Jurisdictional Conferences. Desert Southwest Conference is allotted 2 voting delegates at General Conference 2020 by the General Secretary of the General Conference, Reverend Gary Graves. We are then allotted 10 total votes to Jurisdictional Conference by the Secretary of the Western Jurisdiction, Reverend Brad Larvick. Over the years, some members have left the delegation. These folks resigned due to circumstances beyond their control through various seasons of life and the pandemic and waiting. Life just happens, and we wish all of these former delegates the very best as they carry on in their ministry beyond the polity of the United Methodist Church. The delegates who were elected but have resigned are Margie Robbie, Glenda Hill, and Reverend Gary Kennedy. Our current delegates in order are Clergy First Reserve, Reverend Anthony Tang, Lay First Reserve, Julie O'Neill, Third Clergy Delegate, Reverend Beth Rambicure, Third Lay Delegate, Trinity Donovan, Fourth Clergy Delegate, Reverend Dee Dee Azhikakath, Fourth Lay Delegate, Carla Whitmire, Fifth Clergy Delegate, Reverend Mary Klain, Fifth Lay Delegate, Jess Brown, First Clergy Alternate, Reverend Javier Olivares, First Lay Alternate, Matthew Harris, Second Clergy Alternate, Reverend Timote Piyukala.
You, the people of the Desert Southwest Conference, in accordance with paragraphs 34 and 36 of the Book of Discipline, have charged the 2020 delegation with the tasks outlined in paragraphs 501 through 528 of the 2016 Book of Discipline. Of course, we've only been able to fulfill half of our responsibility, first at the special session of the Western Jurisdiction Conference, where we retired Bishop Bob Hoshibata, and then at the postponed 2020 Western Jurisdiction Conference, which took place in November of 2022. This was the conference that elected our new bishop, Bishop Carlo A. Rapanut. To be clear, we were originally going to elect new bishops for the Western Jurisdiction in July of 2020, before the world was shut down, and after the originally scheduled 2020 General Conference scheduled for that May. Although we have yet to convene as a denominational body, we did read and discern the legislation in the months leading up to the originally scheduled 2020 General Conference. We had the privilege of inviting several experts across the DSC to offer their valuable insight and interpretations of the submitted legislation, and we hope to restart that effort when the next Advanced Daily Christian Advocate, also known as our legislative phone books, is released sometime early in 2024. Beyond attending conferences, our delegation has been immensely involved in the business and life of the Western Jurisdiction through its many committees and special projects, such as the jurisdictional work groups, Western Methodist Justice Movement, and strategizing for the future through the Committee on Episcopacy and Committee on Nominations.
So you may be asking yourself, when is the next General Conference? Well, the Commission on General Conference has specified that the next General Conference is scheduled for April 23rd to May 3rd of 2024 in North Carolina.
You may be asking yourself, how is it that the delegation from 2020 is scheduled to attend General Conference in 2024? This is because the General Conference in Charlotte will be the postponed General Conference of 2020. Recently, the Judicial Council clarified it in decision number 1451, the digest of which says, the next meeting of General Conference, scheduled for 2024, is designated as the postponed 2020 General Conference. The delegates duly elected to the 2020 General Conference for the 2020 through 2024 quadrennium stand as submitted and certified by the annual conference secretaries for the purpose of being seated in the postponed 2020 General Conference, as well as jurisdictional and central conferences. Please note that this is the decision of the Judicial Council and not a choice made by our or any other delegation. Each elected delegate to the 2020 delegation expected the work of that delegation would be finished by now. At each decision point, the first elected delegates have contacted the whole delegation regarding their willingness to continue to serve. To a person, they have said yes, and are planning to continue serving through General and Jurisdictional Conference 2024.
We know you have questions about the next steps for the denomination and when those decisions are going to be made and by whom. While we won't be able to tell what the future holds for the United Methodist Church, we have and will continue to make ourselves available at dscumc.org/delegates. We are happy to answer any questions to the best of our abilities, and it's okay to be confused. We sometimes are too. We thank you for your prayers and trust as we continue to navigate this unclear path before the General Church. And please keep in mind, things may change again and again. Peace be with you.